look forward to working with him. He's a smart kid. He's been in a system that's similar to ours. We've had a lot of good conversations with him. I think he'll be able to process the offense. It's obviously going to take a lot of time. We'll see how it goes. Cam's our quarterback. At whatever position, whatever time, Jared or Mac, ready to, challenge and compete, then we'll see how that goes. But right now, for Mac, he's just got a lot of learning in front of him, and I know he's very anxious to get going on it and get started, and so we'll start trying to give him material to work on and be ready for the rookie minicamp in the second week of May, and then on to the rookie development program and so forth. So should be a good opportunity for him to be able to make progress there. Certainly better than we had last year. So look forward to that. And tomorrow we'll have a pick in each round, have some extra picks on the third day of the draft. So we'll see how all that plays out. But just kind of go back tonight and tomorrow, restack the board, and get ready for tomorrow, just like we did today. That's kind of where we are.
Okay, we'll start with questions. Evan Lazar, followed by Doug Kind.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to ask you how much Coach Saban's input went into your decision to draft Mac tonight.
Well, I talked to Coach Saban and some of the other coaches down there. I talk to those guys, them every year. They always have a lot of players in the draft every year, and Coach Saban's always very, very helpful in his evaluations. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Nick, professionally, but also personally, and so we've always had great conversations about his experiences with the players, and he does a good job of projecting what they would be like on this level, because he's been on this level, and knows the differences and knows the the demands that are different from what they are at Alabama. And so Nick's great. He's a great resource, and is nobody knows more football than Nick does on any level. So whether it's evaluating players or scheming or anything else, game planning, there's nobody I enjoy talking to more than Nick.
Next question, Doug Kind, followed by Mark Daniels.
Bill, there were so many rumors that Mac Jones could be taken as high as 3 to the 49ers. Was he a player that you were expecting might be there for you at 15? And was there any thought of moving up for him at any point during the first round?
Yeah, we don't usually go into the draft with a lot of expectations, and honestly, I missed a lot of those mock drafts, so I'm not really that familiar with where everybody was and wasn't going. So we just try to do the best we can to help our football team. That's what we did today. That's what we've done in the past, and that's what we'll do tomorrow and on Saturday.
Next question, Mark Daniels, followed by Michael Hurley.
Hey, Bill, with Mac, how important was it for you just to be able to evaluate him, a system that level of competition that he did play against, in the SEC?
Right. Well, each player's got his own set of circumstances. We can't control that. We just have to evaluate what they are. Last year we saw Kyle Duggar, at Lenore Ryan, and that's about as different as you could get from, watching Mac Jones at Alabama. But in the end, we have to do the best we can to evaluate the players and put a value on them and project them onto our team and what we think they do and bring and so forth. And so that's what we do with every player. You can't control that, and you have to try to figure it out and find some type of equilibrium, because what the players did and where they are is not anything you have control of. You just have to, like I said, try to evaluate it and figure it out and project it into the New England Patriots. And sure, that's what every other team is trying to do, is to project it into their organization. And the scheme, the fit, the player, the personality, the work ethic, everything that comes with them. And they come in all different shapes and sizes. So, like I said, Kyle and Mac, I don't know if you could, from a level of competition standpoint, it'd be hard to, to get a bigger gap than that. But we can't control it, so we just try to work with it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Next question, Michael Hurley, followed by Matt Ventura.
Hi, Bill. College stats are a little bit different than pro stats, whether it's different levels of competition, all that. But accuracy is still accuracy, and Mac set a collegiate record last year. I think it was 77% with his completion rate. How important was that in evaluating him, and how transferable is accuracy at the college level to the pro level?
Yeah, well, you said it. They're two different levels, so I mean, we'll see. It's all the players that were drafted today, and the ones that get drafted in the next couple of days. They were all good in college, so whatever it was. We'll see how it transfers to the NFL. It's a little different game. The competition is quite a bit higher, and there's a lot more happening a lot quicker. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Next question, Matt Ventura, followed by Chris Mason.
Bill, did the trades and everything that were happening in front of you, how much did you have to pivot and sort of be ready to make different moves throughout because of all the action happening in front of you?
Yeah, well, again, we couldn't really control any of that, so I mean, when you're at 15, you're at 15. So somebody's got to be at 14. Somebody's got to be at 13. So unless you move, it's there's the same number of teams that are going to pick in front of you. So again, we try to grade the players, evaluate the players, and take a look at the board and make the best decisions we can. So there wasn't. Would say, look, we weren't in the most flexible position today anyway. So staying at 15 kind of seemed like the best thing for us to do, and it worked out fine for us.
Next question, Chris Mason, followed by Andrew Callahan.
Hi, Bill. I know the leaders can come from anywhere on a roster, but it seems like it's almost a prerequisite at the quarterback position. I'm just wondering what you learned about Mac as a leader in the pre-draft process, just at the college level.
Well, yeah. Again, we try to do our homework on all the players. Yeah, players like center, quarterback, defensive signal caller, free safety. Inside linebacker and so forth. Like, those positions all have a level of communication and to a degree leadership and so forth. So every player has, again, his own characteristics and what he brings to the team. Some players bring things in some areas and not in others, and vice versa. And so again, there's no one thing that I think necessarily outweighs everything else. You look at the total composite and try to put some kind of a value on that, and then that's what it is.
Is that any more challenging this offseason where you don't have the in-person interactions?
Well, we had multiple Zoom calls with a lot of players. I would say most every player on our draftable board. We had more than one, probably more than three calls with nearly every player. So that was pretty just part of the process. You know, a lot of times in other years you might have had those interviews at an all-star game or at the combine or at a pro day. You know, this year, like last year, we did them virtually, so it was a little bit different, but we, you know, we still could talk to the player and watch film together and talk about his process, career, and go through his tape and so forth. So it was a little bit different, but it was still there was still quite a bit of interaction between ourselves and the players.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sure.
Andrew Callahan, followed by Bob Sosi.
Bill, going back a few months here, you were speaking generally about quarterback play in December and had said, you know, well, accuracy obviously vitally important. Decision making and anticipation to you were bigger parts of the position. And I'm wondering, when you looked at Mac in his game, how much did anticipation, if at all, separate him in that regard when you're considering the other quarterbacks who went tonight?
Right. Well, yeah. Again, there are multiple components to all those things, and the things you just mentioned, those characteristics, are important. You know, as are a lot of other ones. So, I think, look, at this point, we're just going to have to, you know, see, like we do with every new player, every new draft choice, see how those things transfer to the National Football League, to the speed, to the athleticism and instinctiveness and awareness of the players that any players competing against on the other side of the ball, whether it's quarterback or any other position. So we'll see how all those things play out, and you know, look forward to helping the rookies, the new players this year, come in and, you know, learn and become familiar with terminology, with techniques, with whether it be rules or things that are different in the college game coming from the pro game. Try to help them with all those things and see how they do with it. So it's really you know, at this point the process is a lot more about going forward than it is about, you know, looking back.
Bob Sosi, followed by Doug Kyde.
All right, thanks, Stacy. Hi, Bill.
Hey, Bob.
Bill, one of the things that Nick said publicly about Mac Jones is that he has very good visualization of not only what his players were doing, but how defenses would react. And I'm curious how that came across to you, that ability kind of maybe pre-snap to have a conception in his mind, but also to be able with his eyes to, you know, to anticipate and see plays unfold, and if that's unusual for a quarterback coming out of the college level. And
Yeah, well, again, Bob, I think, you know, players are at different levels on those things. Obviously, any player at Alabama, certainly the quarterbacks at Alabama, are very well coached. They understand the offensive design of the play. They understand the defensive adjustments and the weaknesses and strengths of different fronts and coverages and how to anticipate and read blitzes and all that. And so, you know, any player coming out of Alabama that's had that kind of exposure is going to be pretty well prepared for that. But this is a different level, and the things that happen in the National Football League are, again, we have more time, we have more scheme, the players are more advanced physically, they have much more experience, and so what's going to happen at this level is going to be more complex and faster and more difficult than what happened at the last level, just like it is from high school to college. And so that takes some time, that takes some adjusting to. You know, was he good at it in college? Yeah, I mean, everybody that was drafted today was good in college. You don't go in the first round if you don't, you know, have a high level of performance at the level they're at. So how that moves ahead, we'll see. We got a lot of work to do, but we're looking forward to getting with it and And looking forward to working with Mac. I know he's looking forward to it. It's a big challenge. It's it's a long road. It's a big grind, but that's what we all signed up for. So we're excited to move in that direction. But we all have a long way to go. So we need to learn what he can do. He needs to learn a lot about professional football and refine his fundamentals and techniques. We need to coach all the other players as well. So again, I just see this as a big process going forward for all of us. But again, we're anxious and excited to get it moving. We're getting closer. We're a couple weeks through the off-season program, and in a couple more weeks we'll be able to start activities with the players on the field and get to rookie minicamp and get to rookie development program and just move things further ahead. In the meantime, we'll do what we can do in other ways, virtually and so forth.
Thank you.
Next.
Yep, you're
Doug
welcome.
Kite, followed by Phil Perry.
Bill, just going back to your comments off the top, you said that Cam's our quarterback. What exactly does that mean?
It's just what I said.
Just that, I mean, if when you start practice, he'll be the first guy back there, that he's the starter. How long does that last for?
I don't know. Somebody would have to play better than he does.
Thanks.
And we'll take our final question, Phil Perry.
Hey, Bill, we asked you before the draft about grading, and you mentioned it earlier in the call here, and the team making its evaluations. Was Mac the highest graded player on your board when it came time for you guys to make the pick at 15?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to go through all the grades on everybody on the board, Phil. That's not really, something that I would want to talk about in this setting.
Is it safe to say that there were not a lot of players you were considering at that point?
Yeah, like I said, the grading of the players and the draft board and all that, I mean, we've met on that for hours and hours and hours. I mean, we're not going to get into that now.
Last one, Bill, I'm just curious because he's coming from obviously a program that you respect. How much does performance in big games at that position matter to you?
I think I've said this multiple times, Phil. Like, everything matters. So try to take everything into consideration. I don't know. Do you think Kyle Duggar played in any big games last year? I don't know. I mean, they weren't national championship games, but we evaluate the games that they played in. Some guys played in them, some guys didn't. Some guys played at, FBS schools, some guys didn't. Some guys played in Power 5 schools, some guys didn't. Some guys came out early, some guys didn't. Some guys opted out, some guys didn't. Some guys, were injured and missed time. Some players didn't. I mean, each guy is different. So whatever the information is that you have to work with, that's what you have to work with. You can't change it. And if they did, they did, and you evaluate. And if they didn't, they didn't, and you have to evaluate that too. So I think when you start grading the circumstances of the player instead of the player himself, and grade things that were out of the player's control, and you start factoring those into the grade, I don't think you can do a very accurate job of putting a value on the player. Where he was, what he did, some of that is out of his control, and I think if you want to make him accountable for that, then I'm not sure that that's really the right thing to do. So we don't do that. Maybe other teams do. I mean, I don't know. You'd have to ask them.
Thank you,
So-
Coach. My apologies to those I didn't get to, but
Okay.
thank you very much for your time. We'll have updates on tomorrow's availability later tonight and again tomorrow.
Okay, great. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.